Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your March reading. Okay, I'm going to speak into this microphone because my voice is still on the mend. I'll try to stay as close to the mic as I can because I know my voice is not quite there yet. All right, let's start by pulling some cards and looking at the story that they're telling. A little snapshot of what your energy is doing right now, and then we're going to take a look at my copious notes here. But first, let's do it the old school way. Let's grab some cards first of all. That Seven of Cups is about tension. It's the tension between you and others. And they're really confusing you. The way people are being toward you is really confusing. But they expect you to be charitable in return, which is really confusing because they're admitting that they know that they're not being fair to you. And yet, you are supposed to respond with utter graciousness. It's so confusing and just irritating. It's making you mad. Seven of Cups is like, okay, I'm not going to take this for much longer. Like this double speak, this evasiveness, I'm not going to deal with this for very much longer. I'm going to blow up at you. And the response that you're getting, if you even lose your temper a little bit, if your words are even a little bit sharp, the response you're getting is like, oh, you just have so much work to do on yourself. Like, you're just so not, like, you're so not compassionate. You're so not kind. You're just like, you're really, being evil right now. And in your head, you're like, what the fuck? Like, you're the people who are being so rude to me. You're the people who are expecting so much from me. How can I be the one that's blamed here? How can I be the one that's seen as needing to still do so much work before I can get to your level of civility? You're not even being civil. You're being hella mean. And all I'm doing is responding in kind. Now, in a lot of situations, your response is going to be disproportionate to what's being thrown at you. And really, that's their only issue. Their issue is not that you're responding. Their issue is just that you're responding with a more acerbic tone than them. You're responding with more violence than them. You're disproportionately responding. That's what leaves them the door open to say, oh, she, he, them, they have so much work to do still on themselves, Their ego is so in control of them. But really, it's the people around you that are projecting onto you. It's crazy. For some people, it's envy. They just, I don't know, they just want to fuck with you. They can't see you be calm and happy. For other people, they have a definite agenda. Getting you on your back foot is great for them. In some way or other, it feeds them to see you turned upside down. So if for no other reason than that we don't want to give them the satisfaction, when people come at you, confusing you, and expect you to be the bigger person, I'm not saying you have to be the bigger person. I'm saying don't embarrass yourself. Because they're baiting you into a trap so that you will justifiably lose your temper, and then they can make all these idiotic claims about you. And for a lot of these people, you know why they're behaving this way? Because they have problems they want you to solve, especially when it comes to love, relationships, parents, in-laws, all your emotional connections. They have problems and issues that they want you to solve. And usually they want you to solve them at your expense. And so it's in their best interest to rile you up, get you into the bad guy position, and then they can ask you for what they want. And you can't even be like, you should do that yourself. It's interesting. It's like they forgot who you are. There's actually people, the Strength card in reverse, there's actually people who are very much for confrontation right now. Like they want to egg on a confrontation with you right now, especially in the home. Spouse, long-term partner, in-laws, parents, they want a confrontation, and their confrontation is being bred by something not nice. This is not, again, I can't stress this enough. This is not because they're in the right. They are very obviously in the wrong. Whatever is fueling them, it's not right. It's not right. But I think I just have to cover those people because of the YouTube guidelines on nudity. I think that their justifications have worked for a long time. And one of the ways that they get you to go along with this obvious manipulation is that they make you feel bad about things that have happened in the past. You should have been there for that. You didn't do this when I needed you to. You weren't there for me, etc., etc. So if you find yourself emotionally getting pulled into a space where, one, you feel like you're being baited, two, you feel like people want confrontation, which is really surprising. As soon as, Scorpio, you meet somebody who's obviously baiting you into a fight, you need to stop. You need to not give in to that impulse, because anyone stupid enough to pick a fight with a Scorpio is coming into that fight with a plan already. And their plan is simply to use you against you. They can't beat you, but you can beat you. And that's exactly what's happening here. It just sucks that it's happening with family members. It sucks that it's such a high level of projection that they seem like the victim. And as soon as you give them the pushback that's naturally in your personality, you legitimize them as the victim. So we're just not doing that. You may be wondering that 10 of Wands and the 8 of Cups, it's just like someone who turns their back on everybody is like walking away. You may be wondering, like, why are all these people who are supposed to be my family, supposed to be my friends, supposed to be my partner, people who are, stable in my life, why are they testing me so much? Why would people purposefully try to imbalance me? Okay. Now, let's take a more general look at this story as well. That's more about love, what we just talked about. But if we were doing this like a personal reading, okay, so if you're wondering what the personal readings are like, they go something like this. So that 7 of Cups, I think I said 8, the 8 of Cups is here as well. That 7 of Cups and that 6 of Pentacles is a person who's going through it. They're not just confused about the good and the bad, about the accolades and the drawbacks. They can't tell how they feel. They can't tell how to react. And because you're a reactive person, this is painful. The reaction is how you get the venom out. Now, what's being asked of this person who is extremely confused is to put their head down and just keep doing what they've always done. And the implication is also that they should subvert their ego so they can continue to be of use and of service. Now, on the surface, this seems like a pretty noble end. However, when you look closer, you realize that it's done at great emotional expense to you. The forget about it and move on and be of use and help really doesn't apply to the people who are telling you to do so. It applies to you, is what you realize. And in some cases, solely to you. And in this way, you come to feel the burden of carrying a family on your back, carrying an organization on your back, carrying a team at work on your back. You feel all the negative drawbacks of being so interconnected with your family, your work, your hobby, whatever it is. Now, while you are being fed this narrative that this is about loyalty, which is always how people get you, at the same time, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. On one side, they're saying, This is about loyalty. Your loyalty is with me. I'm deserving of your time. I am deserving of your attention. I'm deserving of your service. That last one being the most important. At the same time, these people have great ambitions. And so around mid-month, I wouldn't be surprised if you begin to realize that these people are actually in competition with you. And it's not an emotional competition, it's financial. You're great as long as you're not doing better than them. And that feels like way too small of a cage to be stuck in. So it is a time where you can quickly lose what you thought were deep connections, but definitely were not. Undercover haters. Okay. Now, the other way that people manipulate you at this time is that the people closest to you know that Scorpios are very proud of the harmony that they create in their life, in their world. And there are indications of this harmony here and there in the cards, but there's also so much disruption. There's so much leaving. There's regret. There's confusion, right? So the harmony is upset. And nobody, including the people that swear that you're supposed to be at their beck and call right now, nobody can write this and bring things back into alignment except you. Community guidelines. Okay, so we have the Lovers card. No one can bring things back into alignment except you. Let me put it to you a different way. It doesn't matter how much this Gemini upset you. It doesn't matter how disruptive this Gemini has been. It doesn't matter how turned around this Leo is. It doesn't matter how manipulative and just grimy this Capricorn is. It doesn't actually matter, because you're the one who's going to have to fix these scales. You have to balance that. Nobody can help you with that. They don't even want balance. It's not in their best interests. So, what's the best way to balance stuff out? What's the best way to bring yourself into alignment and quell that feeling, Seven of Cups, of the world being against you, of the world not being for you? You take the opportunities where you find them. And what's the opportunity in this case? The opportunity is to be quiet. As long as you have no outburst, because listen, Mercury is going to move into Aries on March. Let me just look at my notes. March 9th. So, all this frustration that's building up these past few days continues to build. And then on March 9th, you have this great opportunity to either keep your respect, earn more respect in the eyes of others and in your own eyes, or have an outburst. I say you lead with love, keep your respect, and don't have any sort of outburst. Because without knowing it, the people that are pushing you, testing you, triggering you right now, without knowing what they're doing, they are sabotaging your future. Because they're such deeply entrenched haters that they feel your success coming before you do. And they're trying to sabotage it. But because people are meddling to such a degree, you may really lose it in a few days. And your losing it is funny. Since Pluto went into Aquarius, it's hilarious. Because you're losing it is all about the truth. And so what I would say to you is, if you can't just not have an outburst, if you can't Keep it calm, Scorpio. Then go ahead and ditch the disproportionate response and all the bad press that'll bring with it, and go with just telling the truth. Simply, clearly, so everyone can hear you, have it shine bright like the sun. And if you can throw some love in there with your read, with your venom, you will actually cover it up. The truth and the love will cover up that venom, but it'll hit just the same. You are right to want to say the things you say. You are right to tell everybody to take care of their fucking selves, and that they're way too old to be acting the way they are. You're right to tell people that you feel taken advantage of and used. You're right to tell people that you're disappointed when you feel taken advantage of and then simultaneously discarded until you're needed again. You're right to think all of these things. And yet, saying them out loud will do nothing except hurt you. Because this is not the moment to confront your abuser. These are not the moments in which you're going to solve anything. These are moments to make it through, to learn from. But in a what would I not do way, very Buddhistic, the absence of is how you learn from these situations. Your truth is stinger enough. You don't have to go any further than that. And that's going to disrupt that label that you have right now of having a disproportionate response and just going to extremes. So no matter what originally happened, it's the Scorpio's fault in the end. Let's break that. You don't need to walk around with that on you. Okay, let's shuffle a little bit more and then talk about what comes up, and then we're going to go straight into the extended with career and money, mental and physical health, and also a bit of a general metaphysical suggestions, a few hocus pocusy things. Okay, so the Empress. Now, things can end very suddenly, even if you're right, if you throw a justifiable tantrum. You can choose to wear that title once again of being the poisonous bad guy, or you can choose with your actions to not be destructive, to not have a disproportionate response and be destructive for no reason, to not destroy your own reputation. You decide if you're the bad guy or the Empress. Nobody else. And I'm not even saying that you can't do both. Not saying that. It's just that the temper is very high to the point because you feel like you're right, and things can move very, very fast in ways that you will regret, in ways that make you want to leave. Find somebody more compatible. The frustrations in this reading are very real. There is a lot of cat and mouse going on here, a lot of being played with, which says something about how people are never comfortable facing you head on. Have you noticed that? I have. People never want to make that mistake. I wonder why. It's always these sideway moves and these reindeer games. Okay. Now, let's look at some of these notes before I go. Give you a little taste. Okay. Now, one of the things about March, not just at the beginning of March, But one of the things about March is that it brings in a romantic interest, regardless of if you're married or single or with someone long term, whatever it is. It brings somebody very destructive into your world. I would take a guess and say it's a Gemini. And you would think, because they're saying things as they are, they're being very blunt, very open, very honest, very sunny, that this is the person for you. But here's the thing, Scorpio, you may not realize it, but this person is not who they say they are or what they say they are. And it's very easy to corrupt you through them. This person will hold the door open to that corruption and make sure you go all the way inside. This is somebody who can influence your idea of what is wrong and right. This is someone who can rewrite to you everything that's going on in your home from a different perspective, from a more loving perspective. Because they're trying to get in good with you, but this is someone who can corrupt you to your bones. And you'll know it. You'll feel the energy off of them when you first meet them. Just stay away. Just stay away. Be very careful. Very corrupt energy. Okay? And the last thing I'll say before we move to the extended is that you have to remember that for the next month, month and a half, your best self, your most rested self, yourself with the underneath lashes, yourself with the full beat, yourself with the outfit you love on, yourself as you are, and being on duty while you are being yourself. Being on duty means being alert of everything, aware of everything. Yeah. It's heavy. They influence you by messing with your head. It's very manipulative. And there can be copious amounts of drugs, alcohol, fuckboy fuckery, and like sadness involved here. They're really fucking with your head. I'm sorry, for a second I zoned out, but it just like occurred to me. This is a concerted effort. You have to be really, really careful. Someone is trying to rewrite the inside of your head so you'll be really destructive, and you're having some very destructive, sudden thoughts. Like it's a game to mess with your head like this. This is a very expensive game. This is a very expensive game to be messing with somebody else. I've just realized what needs to happen here. How do I say it? You need to preempt this person before they come into your life. Like you should have nothing to do with them. As soon as you feel this energy off someone that we're talking about, go back in your house. Get in your car, lock the door. Do not engage with this person. They've got a history of doing all kinds of gnarly shit. Do not engage with this person. Venus is going to move into Pisces in a little bit. In a few days, Mars will move into Pisces on the 22nd. If you want people, all you have to do is sit by yourself and contemplate, and God will send those people to you. Okay? Well, let's take a further look at career and money and mental and physical health when I come back. I love you. I'll see you in a minute.